Spring is my favorite time of the year. I appreciate the warmer weather, the longer days, and the scenery. The sunshine and blue skies symbolize optimism and hope. It inspires me to get up and get things done, like this video. The year 2003 is a standout year because so much happened in music, pop culture, television, and fashion. This was also a standout year for me because I was a senior in high school. I was getting ready to enter the real world and was done with high school. This is also the same year that the United States went into war with Iraq.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
Fortunately, there were things going on in entertainment to take our minds off of the political events that were happening, because if you exclude the pop culture and music moments, the 2000s was actually a depressing time. My name is Sio Korba. Welcome to my channel, where I talk about stuff that I like to talk about, like 2000s nostalgia, because I know about that stuff. And in this video, I talk about the pop culture events that I remember from the year 2003 that made that year stand out. In my opinion, 2003 is one of the years that is remembered the most from the 2000s decade. Let's get into it.
Okay, we was leaving, we was done. Alright, then she said, can my peoples come? Nah, here we go, I see it, don't stop. They wanna ride it.
You don't ready to forget wild, what we are saying? Yo, hey, just give it a light and pass the job. But another buckle of
Sean Paul Ryan Francis Henriquez, aka Sean Paul, released the song Gimme the Light in 2002. I remember seeing the music video for Gimme the Light when it premiered on the Countdown show 106 in Park when it was airing on BET. That was my first time seeing Sean Paul. I did not know who he was, but I liked the song, not knowing that the song was the start of a music genre that has existed in Jamaica since the 70s, being heard on American mainstream radio. That genre is called dancehall. The genre experienced mainstream success in Jamaica during the 1980s and became increasingly popular in Jamaican diaspora communities in the 1990s. In the 90s, Shabba Ranks, Patra, Beanie Man, Buju Banton, Bounty Killer, and Lady Saw are just some of the dancehall artists that brought dancehall music to the States and had hits. Sean Paul had a fledgling Get Busy, Like Glue, and I'm Still in Love with You were all hit singles, particularly Get Busy, which peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Dancehall music took off in the States in 2003. Dancehall songs were being heard on mainstream radio, like No Letting Go by Wayne Wonder, Also, R&B and hip-hop artists started collaborating with dancehall artists and making their own dancehall songs, like the song I'll Never Leave You, Uh-Oh by Louis D.
It's that Ricky Lake? Let me hear y'all! Yeah, yeah! Let me hear say uh-oh! If I fall, tell you what you wanna know.
And Baby Boy by Beyonce featuring Sean Paul.
Baby boy, you stay on my mind.
come on, girl, how you feel?
I think about you all night. I see you in my dreams.
And this will continue into the following year.
Nobody does the way you
Dancehall music breaking through in 2003 paved the way for Caribbean artists to break into American pop music, like Rihanna and Katy Luna. It also paved the way for the Afrobeats explosion that is currently happening, where songs by Afrobeats artists are charting internationally. Afrobeats artists are collaborating with other artists, and their sound is being infused in hip hop and R&B.
Boss man, anytime you see me come around, don't take bad man to block.
I love dancehall music for the same reasons why I love Afrobeats. The music touches my spirit. It makes me move. It reminds me of my roots, my culture, my identity, and where I come from. I'm not Caribbean, but I feel like dancehall and Afrobeats has a similar sound. A dancehall artist can make an Afrobeat song and vice versa.
Come on! If you think say you're bad man, bad up. Say say you're tough man, tough up.
So crazy right now. Most incredibly, it's your girl, B. It's your boy, Young. You ready?
On June 20th, 2003, music icon Beyonce Knowles Carter released her debut solo album, Dangerously in Love. The first single from the album, Crazy in Love, was released a month before and took off. The song's momentum kept growing and growing until it reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, where it stayed for 8 consecutive weeks, and everyone was doing the infamous uh-oh dance, including me. Legendary girl group Destiny's Child took a break the year before to focus on solo projects. Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams released their solo albums the year before, and then Beyonce released hers and ended up taking over the music scene that year. Beyonce was on TV, the radio, magazine covers, and award shows, and not just in the United States, but in other countries. Dangerously in Love marks the beginning of Beyonce becoming an international superstar. The album has sold over 11 million copies worldwide. I bought the album as soon as it was released and wore that album out. I listened to it every day, danced to almost every song on that album, just like I Am Sasha Fierce. Beyonce personified how I wanted to look and the type of woman that I wanted to be. And seeing a woman of color achieve what she has is inspirational. What black woman didn't want to be like Beyonce during the Dangerously in Love era?
Tell you how I feel right now inside.
Beyonce went on to release another album with Destiny's Child before they broke up, and released 2 more solo albums during the rest of the decade that would help propel her career into what it is today. Beyonce isn't a pop star, she is an icon, and it started with Dangerously in Love. 2003 was the year of Beat.
What's up now, partner? What's up? Oh!
On February 6, 2003, a hip-hop artist from South Jamaica, New York City, New York, named 50 Cent, released his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying. The album featured the monster hit In the Club, and other hit singles 21 Questions and PIMP. The album has sold 12 million copies worldwide, and in my opinion, this made 50 Cent the front runner of hip-hop and R&B music's continued dominance of pop radio at the time. Hip-hop legendary duo Outkast released their double album, Speakerboxxx, The Love Below. Speakerboxxx consisted of Big Boy's solo songs, and The Love Below consisted of Andre 3000's solo songs. The album features the classic songs Hey Ya, The Way You Move, and Roses. The album has been certified 13 times platinum by the RIAA and won the duo 3 Grammys, including Album of the Year. Monica released her 4th album, After the Storm, that features the classic So Gone. The song peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart and topped the Hot R&B Hip Hop Singles and Tracks and the Hot Dance Club Play chart. I also like the song Knock Knock from that album. Ashanti released her sophomore album Chapter 2. The album features the hit song Rock With You, Aw Baby, and one of my favorite songs, Rain On Me. Alicia Keys released her sophomore album, The Diary of Alicia Keys. The album has sold 8 million copies worldwide and features one of her most well-known songs, If I Ain't Got You. I feel like this song is a close second to Fallin' in regards to her signature song. B2K released their sophomore album Pandemonium. The album features their signature song in my opinion, Bump Bump Bump. The song peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart and was played on the radio frequently during that year. Genuine released his 4th album, The Senior. The album features the hit song In Those Jeans. The song peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. It's a great song, and I like the music video. American production and songwriting duo The Neptunes released their compilation album, The Neptunes Presents Clones. The album features their hit song and one of my favorite songs, Frontin'. The song peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. I also want to point out the fact that the Neptunes were on top of their game during this time. Almost every song that was on the radio was produced by the Neptunes. If I heard a song, I could tell if it was a Neptunes beat. People know Pharrell today as the men's creative director at Louis Vuitton. I know him as a legendary music producer that created timeless work. And if the songs he produced were released today, they would still be hits. The music in 2003 was a vibe, especially during the summer. It was like good music was released consistently throughout the year.
Oh yeah.
2003, clothing and hairstyles that were popular during the 70s came back. The satin jackets, flowing dresses, colorful pointy shoes with the black heels, low-rise jeans, and the fox fur jackets. I enjoyed women's fashion during that time. Women's skin-tight jeans were thriving during this time. I remember hearing sayings like, "How did you get all of that in those jeans?" in hip-hop songs. All kinds of denim jeans brands were popular, like Sergio Valente, 7 Jeans, True Religion, Diesel, Dolce & Gabbana, Baby Fat, Apple Bottoms, and other brands that I'm forgetting about. The 70s is one of my favorite decades when it comes to fashion. I love what women were wearing and the music from that decade. It's a time period that continues to inspire later generations. If you're a millennial, then more than likely you remember 2003 being the year that you were starting a life of your own and finding your own identity. If you weren't around during that time or you were just a baby, I hope you enjoyed this video anyway. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Tasty, really scrumptious. Tell me, baby.